Well, that's the last box, Ollie. Whew. All right, so what's next? Ollie had been helping out Wally the Wizard all day long with a big project. See, even in a busy magic shop, sometimes there gets to be too much stuff. Too much stuff to keep track of. Too much stuff to interact, Wally said. Every now and then, gotta get rid of the junk. Some stuff is truly just junk. I'm sure someone took the time to enchant it for a reason, but it doesn't mean we need it now. So we're just going to push it into this magical pit. Yeah, basically. It's not exactly a pit, it's a short aperture portal into a flame dimension, basically. But it's a useful, it has some nullification properties. And yeah, so I really appreciate you coming because you got that wingspan, man. You can really stretch out. So we really want to get it all in at once so everything cancels each other out. So all had stretched out. They lined up all the boxes around this circle in the floor in Molly's basement of his shop. And after some incantations, that circle was now looked like a hole in the universe. And if you looked straight at it, it looked black. But somehow it also lit the room with an eerie bluish glow. And Ollie had stretched himself out, so he was covering about 3/4 of the stack of boxes. And Wally, between his actual, arms and legs and a stick that he had, was covering the last quarter. Said, all right, so on three, we just shove it all in. As long as it all gets in within about 1.5 seconds, we should be good. I said, should be good. Yep, should be good. I'll be fine. I'll say the last incantation. Poof. Decluttering done. All right. I said, I'm ready when you are. Okay. We're going to do it as 1, 2, 3, go. And we're going to push on go. Got it. All right. 1, 2, 3, go. And they both shoved, and the whole pile went clambering into the hole. Decluttering done, Wally said. And he threw a handful of salt out from his pocket onto the middle of the pit. A big whoosh of green flame shot up, and all the magical items in the boxes and the cardboard that held them melted together into a big, weird, copper-colored ingot, and then slowly dissolved away, covering the hole to the pit, and then faded away. It was an impressive light show. Just as the melted ingot was about to seal off the last bit of the portal, a bright green flash emanated from it. Vroomf. And both Ollie and Wally glowed green, pulsed a green glow, I should say, for about 3 seconds. Just vroom, 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 vroom. And then it stopped. Right. Thank you, Ollie. I really appreciate your help. This would have been very difficult, if not impossible, to do alone. Yeah, no problem. But do we need to be concerned about the wompy green glow thing? I don't think so. Probably just some excess energy. It's kind of melted. The ingot melted a little bit unevenly. But I think we're good now. I mean, look, the floor is even back to being totally normal now. I looked, and indeed, the floor was just a stone floor like it usually was. Even the circle drawn in chalk and salt was gone. It looked tidier than Ollie had seen it in any sort of, recently. All right, cool. I'm gonna head home. I'm getting kind of tired. Oh yeah, look at the time, man. I didn't realize we are gonna bet this so late. Yeah, it's like 10:30. Let me. Can I summon you an Uber? Can I pay for your Uber home? Yeah, I'll take you up on that. Stop by. So I headed home. I went to bed. Molly went upstairs. Went to bed. Oh, well, a pretty pleasant day. There had been a lot of funny artifacts that did strange things, and now Wally's shop was a lot more manageable. Ollie read for maybe 10, 15 minutes, but really he was ready to go to bed. I thought about it between the two options that he had. When he first moved to Baltimore, he slept in a giant aquarium, and he still had the aquarium, but most of the time he slept in a bed. He thought, you know what? I'm going to sleep in the aquarium tonight. He climbed in there, went to sleep. In the morning, hard to say what time of morning, Ollie woke up with a gasp. And splashed water all over the place. Ugh. It was like he couldn't breathe water. It was weird. Ugh, man. I coughed. Kind of rude awakening. But he looked at the window, and even though the curtains were drawn, he could see that it was daytime, so I figured, good enough time as any to get up. I climbed out of the aquarium. It felt kind of awkward. But, it'd been a long day. His muscles were probably sore. He padded over to the bathroom to freshen up and thought maybe he'd take a warm shower to start the day. So he turned on the shower. He got in. And he noticed that it was hitting him in the chest, which is weird because usually it hits him right on the head because he's, relatively small. Then all I thought, it's hitting me in the chest. I don't normally have a chest. As his brain abruptly caught back up to what his eyes were seeing, I looked down and he saw a human body. Fingers, toes, fleshy skin, body hair, fingernails. He reached up his hands to his face, and there was a long beard and long hair, eyebrows. He pulled his hands back and realized he had hands. He was a human. Why was he a human? He did not like being a human. Well, I hadn't really tried it before, but pretty fond of being an octopus. I turned off the water and grabbed a towel and dried off. He went to the bathroom mirror, and who did he see looking back at him but Wally the Wizard? Ah! Why? Right away, Ollie realized that it was him looking out through Wally the Wizard's eyes. It was surreal seeing his friend's face with his confused expression that he knew that he was wearing. He looked himself up and down. He pinched himself to see who was dreaming. It hurt. He wasn't. He fumbled around, trying to get his bearings. He'd walked over here easily enough, but now that he knew that he wasn't in his normal body, everything felt awkward and weird and out of place, and everything felt so much smaller and lower down. He struggled with the doorknob, but wrapped his fingers, how weird, around it. He realized that he would need to find clothes. He poked around in his closet and found that he had a few odds and ends of human clothes. A pair of pants, thank goodness. A big long trench coat that he'd used in a disguise. No shirts, no socks, no shoes, a hat. I didn't really need a hat. Groggily, he walked over to the kitchen and awkwardly made himself a cup of coffee. His hands shaking a little bit, he had to think. Why am I Wally? Is Wally me? Ollie said to himself out loud. His voice sounded strange. It didn't sound like his. Man, I guess I'm... okay. All right. Cup of coffee, think, act. So he sipped on his coffee. And he thought. His mind went back to the night before and the green glow. As the coffee soaked in, he realized that the first thing he needed to do was get a hold of Wally, or get a hold of Ollie, or get a hold of Wally the Wizard, who was hopefully inhabiting Ollie the Octopus's body. He called Wally his telephone number. It rang and rang and rang. And at the last second, somebody picked up. Hello. Hi, this is Wally the Wizard. How can I... Oh, it's early. Sorry, hello? Yes, what can I do for you? Wally, is that you? Ollie. Oh, thank goodness. Are you a 65-year-old wizard? Yes. Are you an octopus? Yeah. I think maybe that green glow was more important than we thought. I need to get you here. Wally said. Give me like 20 minutes. I think I can manage a portal spell even without my usual, body. I'll call you back. And Wally hung up. And Ollie sat there and thought, well, I should make the best of the situation. I've never been a human before, so even if it's temporary, I might as well take advantage of it. He was decently dressed enough to be out in public, so he went and he walked around. It was dawn. He noticed that the colors that he saw were a little bit different. Makes sense, I guess, Ollie said. Human eyes are different than octopus eyes. He walked over to the park, where he could reach up easily and pick leaves and things like that. Soon enough, Wally called back. All right, I've got the portal spell figured out. It's actually kind of nice having 8 limbs. All the same, Wally, I'd prefer to be back in my own body. Although the sunsets are beautiful. They are, aren't they? Yeah. Hold on one second. And in a flash, Ollie, in Wally's body, was in Wally's shop next to Wally in Ollie's body. Whew. That teleportation spell is fast when you've got so many digits to gesture and draw with. Yeah, no kidding. But how do we get back in our own bodies? I mean, I'm kind of enjoying being an octopus. It's kind of cool. It is, but you've got your life to lead, and I've got my life to lead. And maybe if we figured out how to do this, we can swap again later on purpose. But I, for one, Ollie said, have some things I'd need to do today. I've got social appointments that I can't show up to as a wizard in my 60s. Fair enough, Wally said. Come this way, I think I figured it out. They went down to the basement. There, in the circle that they'd seen before, Ollie saw that the circle that they'd made for the portal, had been filled back in with the melted ingot of magical items. It was not quite complete. There was a spot about the size of a grapefruit with the shape of a kidney bean. It was still copper colored like the ingot had been. It didn't quite meet the line of where the circle had been. We've got to complete the circle, Ollie. I think if we complete the circle, the switcheroo will reverse. How do we complete the circle? I think we've got to melt in more magical items. Oh no, do we have to do the whole spell over again? I don't think so, Ollie said. Shh. And I've got just the thing. I took a measurement, and this candlestick, if we melt it down with magical fire, will just about fill in that spot. What does that candlestick do? What's its magical enchantment? Haha! That's the best part. I don't even have to give up a valuable magical item. I took a regular candy stick and I enchanted it. What does it do? It glows. You light a candle on it, the whole candlestick glows. It's kind of a cool effect. It was just the first thing that came to mind that I could do easily, but I might make some, like on purpose to sell, because wouldn't that be neat? Wouldn't that be neat to be able to just light a candle on a candlestick and the whole... Yes, Wally. Sounds very cool. Can we proceed? Yes, of course. Wally, in Ollie's body, drew a smaller version of the diagrams for the portal. And he opened up this magical lamp thing. Started heating up the candlestick. I don't know if that lamp's ever going to melt the candlestick. Oh, it normally wouldn't, but, magical lamp. I got it. And Ollie took the candlestick and set it on top of the one incomplete spot. And with a wave of Ollie's arms and a magical spell of levitation, the lamp went upside down, but the flames still kept pointing at the candlestick. First the candle melted, and the top of the candlestick melted, and it melted all the way down with the floating lamp following it to the bottom. Right at the very end, the metal flowed in and completed the circle. All at once there was a flash of that same blue light from yesterday. And then green, first Ollie and Wally pulsed green. And then a beam of green light shot from both of them down into the hole, which sealed up with a pop. The kidney bean-shaped lump was gone. The candlestick was gone. The lamp was still floating there. Wally walked over and picked it up. In his hands, he realized. Ha! It worked! I have hands. And I have arms and tentacles. Well, just arms, really. Point is, you did it, Wally. We're back to normal. Whew. What am I dressed as? Wally said. You're dressed with I don't have a very good human costume. It's the best I had. I like the hat, though. Can I keep the hat? You can keep the hat. But I think I need another cup of coffee. And that was the case of Ollie and the magical decluttering.